Victor was always the smartest guy in every room. He used to be different. He used to be kind, he used to be caring. And then, everything he loved was taken from him. I knew he was lost, but I did not realize that he was broken.
Victor, did you do this?
All of you have lived stolen lives. But now you must give them back.
Answer me, Victor! Did you do this?
I swear, you will beg for a hell long before I grant it.
Hell answers to me. For I am Doom.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel released another Avengers Doomsday trailer, this time with a whole bunch more footage and Easter eggs, so we will break it all down. We got a whole bunch of classic X-Men coming back in Avengers Doomsday, and a whole bunch of brand new ones debuting at D23 this weekend, so X-Men fans are eating good right now. All this footage is basically what they showed off at Comic-Con in Hall H. Now they're just releasing it publicly with shiny HD 4K footage, so thank you very much, Marvel. Starting at the beginning of the footage, we see Doctor Doom on his throne, but you do notice on the floor it's glowing with his magical runes, magical energy. There's a spell all over the ground here. Most of the symbols we've seen the previous Comic-Con booths that they had and the D23 booth, which is basically just another version of the Comic-Con booth. And even though they don't appear in this trailer, we've seen a first look at the Lotvarian witches that are serving him in all the different colors. Like the purple color might be a version of Clea hiding out because Doctor Strange is all supposed to be working with him. This is supposed to be what he looks like in the movie. There's another mystery character in brown that might be Ravonna Renslayer because she is coated in brown during the Loki series, like heavy brown coloring. Then there's another green Lotvarian witch that might be a mystery, might be a version of Peggy Carter or another character that we know because they're all wearing different versions of Doctor Doom armor and masks. I think to have a big surprise when they do a mask rip reveal in the film. Like, oh my gosh, this character we've known this whole time is suddenly helping Doctor Doom. And they just play it up like a big heel turn in the film. Or the idea that Doctor Doom is holding them hostage and forcing them to work for him, help him. We get voiceover from Sue Storm, and it seems like she's telling this story about the history of Doctor Doom and how he broke bad to all the other Avengers and the X-Men characters, the other Fantastic Four, inside what seems like the X-Mansion, based on all the books and the curtains. It seems like a regular room, and it doesn't look like the Fantastic Four's 1960s design language of the Baxter Building. So this is probably when they're fighting or after they fight in the X-Men's world.
And then, everything he loved was taken from him.
She says Victor was always the smartest guy in every room. He used to be different. He used to be kind. He used to be caring. Then one day, everything he loved was taken from him. They do a really cool custom version of the Marvel Studios logo reveal with light behind it, as if the light is lighting the Marvel Studios logo, and it's very Doctor Doom coded, like they want this to be a Doctor Doom trailer all about his character. We get a shot of Magneto listening to her. His arm is in a sling. This is probably because it's after their fight. He hurts his arm during their fight. Channing Tatum's Gambit, obviously much more serious in tone in his character in this movie than he was in Deadpool and Wolverine. Channing Tatum also said that they were going to tone down the Gambit a bit for Doomsday. It was going to be a more serious version of the character. We get another shot of Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, in his black shirt. Shirt guy will return in Avengers Doomsday, post all the memes. And when she says everything was taken from him, we see a version of the poster that they released a while ago with him with his hand on the giant picture, and it's a broken world with a crack through it with, I think this is meant to be his wife and child who died at some point because of an incursion. And later in the trailer when he's talking about you're all living stolen lives, I'm taking them back from you, it's because he blames an incursion for everything that's happening in present day. Like maybe something happens with Captain America causing an incursion that leads to other developments in other people's lives, and he feels like that's cheating, and he wants to take that back from them because he lost his family and everybody else gained these other families. My assumption is the castle next to them here is Castle Von Doom in Latveria, and that's probably where his throne is here. Like, we're probably in Castle Von Doom in Latveria. I'm not sure what's going on with the angels around his wife and child. You can let me know what you think is going on with them. We get a bigger shot of another group of characters standing together next to each other. U.S. Agent John Walker, Black Panther Shuri, Shang-Chi, M'Baku, and Namor behind them too. So Namor does help them during this big fight. Notice he's got his giant spear with him too. Then Sue Storm says, I knew he was lost, I didn't realize he was broken, and the trailer takes a turn as Doctor Doom comes in and just starts to spank everybody. We get a really quick shot of Thor, who now has short hair and he is sleeveless again. And you do notice when the camera pans around on Doctor Doom, like it comes down on him from above, in the background on the far left, you actually see somebody else's robes billowing. That's probably one of the other Latvian witches that we saw pictures of at Comic-Con and D23. We get a really wide shot of what looks like New York City. I think this is Central Park. The entire city has been destroyed, and it seems like it's after a major battle, like an incursion is happening, and things are being destroyed right and left. And it's just another example of Doctor Doom going around destroying different worlds on his whims, trying to stop the incursions, but also build his own version of Battleworld by the end of the movie, using all this power that he's accumulated from other different places. We will get to that in a second because I think we figured out what happens with Loki in the movie, because at D23, the TVA booth showed the TVA being all cracked and damaged as if Doctor Doom shows up to destroy the TVA and take Loki's power, which would definitely answer a lot of questions like why doesn't God Loki just stop all this stuff that's happening in this movie if he's so powerful? Well, he can't stop it if Doctor Doom finds a way to take his power. And even though we're using all the Deadpool and Wolverine memes, at the D23 panel for Avengers Doomsday specifically, they started with an intro from Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds on a set that looked kind of like the X-Mansion, making jokes about how they get asked whether they're going to be in Avengers Doomsday or not, which I think is meant to be a tongue-in-cheek way of Marvel saying, yes, they are going to be in Avengers Doomsday, both of them.
Dude, I know. You've already done filming.
Maybe the next one is called Deadpool and Spider-Man, and literally everyone except Wolverine.
Who are you? Like, what? That's both hurtful and spiteful. Why are you sitting? Hey, Kevin. Hey, D23. Hope you're all having a great time. I just wanted to check in, just totally unprompted, and just wondering if you might need some help. Rounding
Out.
The cast. Rounding out the cast? Dude, they've got like 28 people. Why the hell do they need us?
Because we're the golden ones. We're special. Now follow the script.
So, anyway, if you guys need some help rounding out the cast, I'd love to join. And, I don't know, I might be able to convince Ryan to appear in Avengers Doomsday. But no pressure. I hate you so much, man.
I know.
I love that Ryan Reynolds starts out by calling the next movie Deadpool and Spider-Man in literally every other character except for Wolverine. But there's no way that they would do this special clip, like the special bit, if they weren't going to be in the movie. But one of the other interesting details we found out about earlier was Ian McKellen said that his Magneto was filming a scene where he destroyed New Jersey. This might be part of what was happening during that scene, even though this is of New York proper, like New York City with Central Park here in the middle. This is just what it looks like on a planet after an incursion has gone down. We get that scene of Reed Richards talking to Doctor Doom, asking him excitedly, did you do this? Like horrified at what's happened with this whole incursion and this giant destruction going down. This is probably when Doctor Doom does his big heel turn in the movie, revealing himself as the actual antagonist, whereas previously he acted like he was trying to help everyone in the movie. Because I think this footage, especially Sue Storm's voiceover and Reed Richards' familiarity with him, confirm that he is the Doctor Doom of the 828 universe in the Fantastic Four movie. And even though there's still a lot of unanswered questions about exactly how his wife and child died, the incursion that he blames Captain America, Steve Rogers, for, the idea is that when the Fantastic Four movie was going down, he was around on that planet. We just didn't see him. He didn't show up to help with Galactus. We also did see another costume that he wears with a much smoother, different-looking mask and different armor that looks more like the one we saw in the Fantastic Four post-credit scene, which I also think backs up that idea that he is the Doctor Doom of that 828 universe. We get a really quick shot of Ant-Man and Cassie Lang, so we know Cassie Lang is in the movie. We'll see which other Young Avengers characters show up during this. Johnny Storm with Franklin, but it's not clear where they are in this white space all behind them here. Maybe this is just a curtain and just the light's blowing this out, so you can't really tell exactly what's going on here. The last we saw was of him in that Fantastic Four post-credit scene with Doctor Doom and him touching his face. Franklin Richards will be critical to the plot of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars because he has the power cosmic, and Doctor Doom needs all the power he can get to do what he wants to and reshape reality for Avengers Secret Wars in Battleworld. All the heroes will also need Franklin Richards' power to create entire galaxies after Secret Wars to remake reality and fix things that Doctor Doom has broken. Doctor Doom then says, in his very thick Robert Downey Jr. voice, you can let me know what you think of his accent in this, because we get way more of it, all of you people are living stolen lives, and now I'm taking them back. And this is meant to flow with the idea that he's going to make his own Battleworld reshape reality into something that he wants. Like he's probably going to find a way to try and bring his family back that he thinks that he lost in the 828 universe, while at the same time taking people's lives metaphorically from them when he reshapes reality. Which is basically Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars run. We get quick shots of Professor X and Magneto. You also notice that Magneto is seeing this glowing green energy in front of him in the sky, and he seems like he's about to die, so I wouldn't be surprised if he sacrifices himself in this movie, and the green glowing is probably Doctor Doom's magic, or it has something to do with the Sentinels that he raises later, firing on all of them, using his runes to control them. Either way, I would prepare to press F to pay respects to Ian McKellen's Magneto in this movie. This is also the first time I've seen Magneto cry in any X-Men movie. We get another version of that scene of Steve Rogers looking at his son as Dr. Doom says, living stolen lives. I think we know what that means specifically because he really has a beef against Steve Rogers in the movie. And the early theory is that Loki in the previous footage is shown to be in his house with Peggy Carter with his TVA card, and I think the idea is it's set before the events of the end of Loki Season 2, and Loki shows up to take them to another reality because him staying in the past creates what will eventually lead to an incursion, so he can't stay there because the TVA is going to show up because he's going to create a Nexus event. So the early theory is that Loki wants to do him a solid and takes them to the 828 universe where they have their family and his son is born, and that's the quote-unquote stolen life that Dr. Doom blames Captain America, Steve Rogers, for causing an incursion that caused him to lose his wife and child. There's still a lot of questions there because nothing in the Fantastic Four post-credit scene made it seem like there was any kind of incursion on that planet. So we're still kind of wondering what the exact event was that caused his wife and child to die, that he's blaming all these other characters for messing with different universes and causing incursions. We get another shot of Thor looking at Love, who he's raising as his adoptive daughter, Gor's daughter basically, the daughter of Eternity they also call it because she has crazy powers, because she was made by Eternity. It's not totally clear where Shuri, Ghost, and Falcon are here. It might be on the Fantastic Four ship, it might be in some other base, but she looks really worried about what's about to happen. And we get another shot of Cyclops in the middle of the battle here. Notice everything is burning around him, and those giant feet are from the Sentinels around them. This is from that big wraparound shot here where Dr. Doom raises them up and they start turning on all the characters. It's not totally clear what this place is, this ship that Dr. Doom flies out of here and lands on the ground before he starts to spank them. It might be one of his ships, it might belong to one of them. You can let me know what you think in the comments. But I don't believe it's something that we've seen before, but this is meant to be on the X-Men's planet where this is happening. Reed Richards starts to crash out a little bit, gets really pissed off as Thor tries to go for the head. That's the comp here, is that he's going for the head because he remembers what happened with Thanos in Infinity War, not going for the head. But we get that stone-cold, cool moment of Doctor Doom stopping him dead in his tracks, Stormbreaker, just dissipating the energy using the runes on his armor. Remember, he's a man of magic and technology, so he's woven a lot of runes into his armor, so he has all this extra power. Also, he's probably stolen the power of a couple other big characters in a couple other magical tomes, just generally collected a lot more power-ups. He's probably done a couple other side quests that the other characters don't know about.
Yoink! Yoink!
Yoink!
As Thor tells him, "You'll beg for hell long before I give it," in Doctor Doom, probably one of the coolest lines in any of the Marvel trailers we've gotten so far, saying, "Hell answers to me, for I am Doom." You can make all kinds of Mephisto jokes there too, because in the comics, Doctor Doom has a beef against Mephisto for stealing his mother and holding her captive, so he tries to go with Doctor Strange to hell to kill Mephisto to rescue his mother at some point. But I'm not expecting the movie to get into any of that kind of stuff, just because they're so focused on what seemed like Doctor Doom's wife and child in the film. Maybe there'll be some light references to that stuff in the movie, but I don't know if Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto is actually meant to show up in this film. And we get a much more polished, finished CG version of that leaked scene that we got earlier this year with him raising all the Sentinels back up using his magical runes to control them and try to kill all the other characters. And they do this big 360 wraparound shot of all of them that's meant to ape the same shot from the original Avengers movie with the original 6 Avengers. But now you have a bunch of multiverse characters altogether: X-Men, Fantastic Four, and New Avengers characters. And if you couldn't tell, this is still happening on the X-Men's world because of the Sentinels. That should be the dead giveaway. But they're also on the grounds of the X-Mansion because there's that dried up fountain right next to him when he's doing this, meaning that what's ever happened here, whatever giant battle, all the plant life is gone and the mansion has probably been very, very blown up. It would not be an X-Men movie if they didn't destroy the X-Mansion. They just did it a couple times during X-Men 97 the past couple seasons. We get another version of the intro that we've gotten in previous trailers, and a reminder of the Infinity Vision, which is just meant to be Marvel's version of a nicer projection style, like nicer picture, because they lost the IMAX screens to Dune 3, and they're still doing Doomsday because Avengers Doomsday and Dune are still coming out at the same time at the end of the year. But we're just a couple days away from the Doomsday clock rolling over to 3 months and counting. There's still a lot of other questions about details in this movie, like all the different sigils and runes all over Doctor Doom's armor. What is going on with the star on one side that looks kind of like Captain Marvel's star? Has he taken her power in his universe or her power in some other universe? Is that why we're not seeing Captain Marvel in any of these trailers? There's what looks like a hammer on his other pin. It's not clear if that represents Thor's hammer or something about that power. But after watching this trailer and seeing the booth of the TVA at D23 all cracked and broken, and them saying, "Don't worry, everything's totally fine, wink wink," really makes me worried for the Loki character. One of the other twists of the trailer, too, is Doctor Doom talking about everybody, not just Steve Rogers living a stolen life, but everybody living stolen lives. So now you kind of wonder, when you go around the horn, like go back and look at all the characters, what kind of stolen life could Cassie Lang and Scott Lang be living? Like, what happened that should not have happened, according to Doctor Doom, that they changed about reality? Maybe it has something to do with the events of Quantumania with Kang. Maybe he was supposed to die down there and not Kang, and somehow that changed reality and caused an incursion. Maybe the idea with Franklin Richards is that Doctor Doom sees that he was supposed to become the new Galactus, the way that Galactus wanted to take him. It's not totally clear what kind of stolen life the X-Men characters would be living, because they're in a completely different universe too, from the Fantastic Four and the New Avengers and from Doctor Doom. Maybe something happened in this timeline, it has something to do with Deadpool and Wolverine, something changed, and this is just a nicer, much happier version of reality than what we were seeing in the original Bryan Singer era X-Men movies up to X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix. I think it's a little bit easier to understand why he's mad at Thor over the existence of love because of the events of Thor Love and Thunder. Love should not exist. He actually made the bargain with eternity, letting Gore basically resurrect her through eternity, and he just created a new version of the character with all this power imbued in her, and maybe Doctor Doom views that as an abomination. Like, that should not have happened. My other assumption when it comes to Loki here, when he's talking about stolen lives, taking them back, is that he doesn't like that Loki has also been going around messing with timelines in the TVA just in general. Doctor Doom probably has a beef against the TVA. He lost his wife and child. Why wouldn't the TVA help him get them back? It's a little harder to know what stolen life you think that Shuri might be living, or Falcon, or Ghost. Like, what did they do about reality that should have been different? But there's still a lot of questions that the trailer raises. It almost raises more questions than it answers. That's kind of the vibe of the trailers for big Avengers movies like this, is they're meant to be as cryptic as possible. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the new trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, or if you have questions about all the stuff that's being announced at D23 this weekend. Marvel also dropped a couple other big teasers and trailers. They revealed the entire new X-Men cast for that 2028 movie. I'll do a video for that next. I'll try to get that up as fast as possible. Then a Vision Quest trailer video. Then an Ahsoka Season 2 trailer video after that. So we are going to be eating good for the next couple of days pouring over all this stuff, but I will probably not get any sleep. So please say a prayer for me, but everybody click here and here for all those new trailer videos. I'll update the links as soon as I post them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.